Hello and welcome to the first tutorial video on Python that we have for you. Today we're going to talk about different types of data. In the whole process of the video tutorials, I'm going to do the same process that you should do whenever you have any question. So you need to always go and Google that. Internet is always the best source for you. So I'm going to go to Chrome. I'm gonna search Python data types. So this is a really good resource. This website is gonna talk about different data types that we have: integers, floats, complex numbers, strings, and Boolean type. So I am gonna ask you to pause the video, go check this website, read about integers, floats, complex strings, and Boolean type, and then we're gonna join after you read them. Okay, now that you're familiar with those types of data, we are gonna play with them in the Jupyter Notebook to see how they're gonna behave. First, I'm gonna define A as 123. Then I'm gonna ask Python to print me what type of data is this. Okay, so it says that it's in an integer class. Let's define B as 123.45. Then I ask Python to give me what type of data is B. Okay, so it is float. Now I'm going to define C as 123 again, but with different format. The format that you learn how to make a string. I'm going to ask Python to give me what type of data C is. Perfect. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is that you actually can play with them and change their type. So, I mean, of course, if the change is possible. So we know that the C is actually a string. I want to make that as an integer. So what I can do is I'm gonna ask it to, so the int function actually change the type of data to integer, if it's possible. Good. So one other thing that I want to talk about is that I use the same name here. And when you're using the same name, you should always have the mindset that Python is gonna read the codes line by line. That's the reason that even though we changed the C to integer, we still have the first time that we ask Python to give us the type of the C, type of the data of the C, we still get the string, and after we did the change, we are gonna get the integer. Let's define D as a string again, and now I'm gonna try to make that as an integer and see what happens. Now what I got was an error because 123.45 as a number is not an integer, so it cannot convert it to integer. So what I have to do is actually convert it to float. I can delete that comment, edit that line, or make it as a comment. Now we have a successful results. Yes, now we have a float. You also can play with it in other ways, like I'm gonna define E as string hello world. That is the first line that any person learns in programming. Then I want to see if Python is intelligent enough to recognize that is type of a string that cannot be converted to float, for example. See, what do we get? Here we go. Could not convert a string to float for hello world. Last but not least, we're going to talk about the last kind of data type, which are booleans. So booleans are in the form of true or false, or 1 or 0. They are being used whenever you need the condition between two possibilities. Now I'm gonna print what is type of F. Oopsie. Here we go. Oh, that's another important thing to talk about right now. I still have that error. So Python could not pass this line. So it never got to this line. That is one other interesting thing to know. So what I did here is that to make it all as a string, and you can do that. Sometimes it's helpful when you want to make comments in your codes, like long comments, for future yourself or for another person who's going to use your code. Okay, so we found out that the F variable type is Boolean. Okay, that is the end of this lesson. Hope it was helpful for you.